Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. Today is Friday, April 25th, 2025. Today is day 567 since October 7th of 2023. Yesterday was Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day, and Churches for Middle East Peace put out a call for the preservation of the Armenian Christian community, which is under threat in the Old City of Jerusalem. It's under threat in areas like Nagorno-Karabakh. And yesterday marked the 110th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide. In addition to Armenians, Greeks, and other Christian minority groups were killed during the early 20th century. Assyrians, as the Turkish Empire, the Ottoman Turkish Empire, wrought havoc upon those Christian communities. We'll be celebrating the gift of life and the commemoration of those deaths at St. Mary's Armenian Apostolic Church on Sunday, April 27th. So if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, we invite you to join us. The event is called Faith, Remembrance, and Resilience, Standing Together for Justice and Peace in commemoration of the martyrs of the Armenian Genocide. The program will be ecumenical with a number of Christian faith leaders. There'll be a performance by the children of the church, a reception. I hear there will be phenomenal Armenian food, so we hope that you might join us for that event. In terms of the war between Israel and Hamas, Germany, France, and Britain yesterday urged the Israeli government to end its intolerable blockade on aid. They pointed to the obligations of Israel according to international law, and the warning of an acute risk of starvation, epidemic, disease, and death if Israel does not immediately restart a rapid and unimpeded flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. In an unprecedented set of remarks, President Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian Authority president, yesterday called on Hamas to release the hostages and to block Israel's justifications for the genocide that the Gaza Strip is being subjected to. Abbas called on Hamas to refrain from carrying arms and to transform into a political party that operates according to the laws of the Palestinian state. An Israeli strike on a school turned shelter of displaced families in Gaza killed 10 people and set to fire tents and classrooms yesterday, according to medics in Gaza. Israel said that it was targeting militants operating from within the complex. Sources reported that at least 61 people were killed in the Gaza Strip since Thursday morning, 46 of them in Gaza City and northern Gaza. Israeli Defense Forces Chief of Staff, the Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir, said yesterday, if we do not see progress in the return of hostages, we'll expand our activities into a more intense and significant operation until we receive a decisive outcome. The idea of intensified activities and operations in Gaza is petrifying. The Israeli military yesterday acknowledged that it was responsible for killing a UN aid worker in a strike on a UN guest house in Gaza last month, after previously describing the UN's assertion that Israeli fire killed the staffer as a baseless slander. Israeli strikes killed 50 people in Gaza yesterday, local health authorities said. According to the health ministry, the Dura Children's Hospital in Gaza City also became non-operational after an Israeli strike yesterday damaged the facility's intensive care unit and solar panel system. I'll remind you that on Palm Sunday, less than 2 weeks ago, the Ali Hospital was also bombed twice. The bombing of hospitals and humanitarian aid workers, any facility that's used for medical assistance, is a clear violation of international law. An Israeli reservist was killed in North Gaza combat, and 2 other soldiers were seriously wounded. Master Sergeant, he was a reserve sergeant, Asaf Kafri, was 26 years old. A tank driver in the 79th Battalion of the Makhatz Brigade. He was killed by sniper fire on Thursday. He survived by his parents, 3 brothers, and a partner. Israeli settlers torched homes, a goat pen, and shot at Palestinian residents in the occupied West Bank. As settlers entered the village, they were followed by IDF soldiers who then arrested 5 locals who were suspected of throwing stones. We ran from home and took nothing. Everything is gone, said one villager. In Jordan, it said that Jordan will enforce a ban on the activities of the Muslim Brotherhood. The kingdom's interior ministry said this yesterday. They linked the arrest of the 16 people over plotting threats to Jordan's national security to elements of the Islamic group Muslim Brotherhood. You'll recall that President Abbas said the PA assisted with intelligence that led to those arrests. In terms of Yemen, the Houthis and not the United States are responsible for a deadly blast on Sunday near a UNESCO heritage site in Yemen's capital. That's according to a U.S. Central Command spokesperson yesterday. And the Houthi militants successfully shot down at least 7 multi-million-dollar U.S. drones in the past month, multiple U.S. officials said. In terms of the broader Middle East, the U.S. is poised to offer Saudi Arabia an arms package that's worth more than $100 billion. This will happen during Trump's visit to Riyadh in May when he goes to Saudi Arabia. That's supposed to be his first foreign visit. Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi raised the possibility of negotiating an interim nuclear deal during Saturday's U.S.-Iran talks. Araghchi told White House envoy Steve Witkoff that it might not be possible to reach a final accord on Trump's proposed timetable of 2 months. Representatives of Washington and Tehran will meet for the next round of talks tomorrow on Saturday in Oman. The U.S. State Department, they have a policy planning director, Michael Anton, who will lead a team of about a dozen U.S. government officials to negotiate with Iran in those talks, according to a U.S. official yesterday. In the U.S., Joe Casper, the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's chief of staff, yesterday confirmed that he is voluntarily leaving his Pentagon post to become a part-time special government employee with a focus on science, technology, and industry. Casper's departure is the latest episode of turmoil that is gripping the Defense Department amid a spate of leaks, firings, and investigations of senior aides. It's a free-for-all at the Pentagon, with departures of senior aides causing delays to routine memos and actions and infighting for the newly vacant positions. According to sources, the former Pentagon officials, several have warned that the tumult may potentially be a national security threat and have implications. And federal agents arrested Mahmoud Khalil without a warrant, according to court documents filed in Khalil's challenge to his deportation. Attorneys for the government argued that the arrest was not lawful by asserting that a warrant is needed when an immigration officer has reason to believe that an individual is likely to escape before a warrant can be obtained. That's according to the Washington Post. So that is the update of the news of the last 24 hours. Be in prayer. Pray for the people of Gaza who have been cut off from food for more than 50 days. Food, water, gas, and electricity. There are many who are suffering in the Palestinian territories throughout the Middle East. Be in prayer. If you've not taken our action alert, please do so. There is much that can still be done in our efforts of pursuing peace. May God go before us. Thank you for your support. I'm still planning on competing in an Ironman in September. If you're interested in finding out more about that, I have a half Ironman that's coming up in just a month. And so thank you for your prayers for my health. I'm still training. I had 10 days where I was off in the last few weeks. And so I'm really, really grateful to be feeling much, much better. So thank you for your prayers and support in that regard. We'd invite you to consider becoming a monthly donor and supporting our work at Churches for Middle East Peace. We're so, so grateful for your prayers and your support. May God go before us in our efforts. In the name of Christ. Amen.